Chapter 7. Gabby. To my luck, my backyard is going to be started on much sooner than expected. I got a call from Mr. Ward 2 days ago, saying that if it was okay to get started, he could bring his crew on Thursday. Apparently, he wants to get this job done before a big one he has coming in May. It's now 7 in the morning on Thursday, and I'm standing on my porch with a mug of coffee in hand, watching as they carry tools and supplies to the backyard. I smile as each guy passes by and they return the smiles. A familiar black Ford pickup truck pulls into the driveway moments later, stealing my attention. Mr. Ward steps out in a plaid blue and white button-down shirt, but the buttons aren't done up, and the sleeves are pushed up to his elbows. It's wide open, revealing a white, ripped tank. It doesn't look like he did much with his hair, almost like he rolled out of bed and ran his fingers through it. It's kind of hot. When he spots me, he puts on a small smile, then walks up the stoop. "Mornin', Miss Gabby," he greets, stretching his arm out and giving me his hand. I reach to shake it, catching a whiff of him. He smells like Irish Spring soap and sandalwood, a complete contrast to Kyle's Bleu de Chanel. "Good morning, Mr. Ward. Glad to see you here, and a few minutes earlier than you said." "Well, I think it's safe to say my team is eager to get this job started." I laugh. "I can't wait to see what you've got." He smirks at me as he reaches under his arm for the clipboard that I didn't even realize was there. "I just need you to sign a few papers for me. Basically giving me the consent to destroy your yard before making it look all nice and done up again." He pulls a pen from behind his ear, and I gladly accept it, signing on the dotted line. Once signed, he tucks it back under his arm and replaces the pen. "Thank you. It'll turn out nice. Let me know if you have any questions. My crew won't be in your hair at all, so carry on with your day." "Thank you, Mr. Ward." He chuckles. "You aren't gonna let that name up, are you? Only if you let up on calling me Miss Gabby." I sip from my mug, the one that says Mrs. Bitch. There's a matching one that says Mr. Asshole that belongs to Kyle. Tegan bought them for us as a gag wedding gift. Let's just say Kyle hates his mug. He walks down the porch steps. "Ain't happening. Unless you want me calling you the name that's on that mug you got there." A laugh bubbles out of me. "That wouldn't be very professional." I agree, so Miss Gabby it is. He winks over his shoulder, then heads toward his truck. I watch as he places the clipboard inside and then he walks to the bed of it, taking out a set of tools and papers. As he walks on the path that leads to my backyard, I yell, "Wait, are you really going to be working with them?" I'm so shocked. I truly thought he was kidding about it in the emails and during the consultation we had, just to make himself seem more professional. I mean, he owns the company for Christ's sake, and he has plenty of men back there to work. I enjoy working. I didn't open this company just to sit on my ass all day. I open my mouth to argue, but really I don't have much to say to that. Most owners I know come to check things out, not to do the work themselves. He seems to be in a position where he can sit and relax, yet he works. It's interesting. Shall I continue? His southern timbre is much stronger as he raises a dark, slightly bushy brow. Yeah, sure. By all means. He hikes the strap of his tool bag higher on his shoulder and continues down the path. I watch until he disappears around the corner before going into the house. From the double doors in the kitchen, I see the men setting up. Some have already started digging out the old flower beds, scooping the dirt out like it's sand. I finish my tea and head up to my studio, although I have very little inspiration today. Instead of sculpting, I hop on my laptop and visit ArtMeUp to check for any messages or notifications. There are none, so I check out the market, but mostly the sculptures. Some of them are so intricate and beautiful, selling for thousands of dollars. I study one by an artist named Big Hands. His work is amazing, so detailed, and the way he colors and glazes his sculptures blows me away. He has to have a top-notch kiln. Shit. Speaking of kilns, I jump out of my chair and rush out of the room, hurling myself down the stairs and up the double doors in the kitchen. "Hey! Wait!" I yell, looking to my right. As soon as I do, I realize how much of a fool I've just made of myself. Mr. Ward and his crew are standing in the far left corner. His papers are on a small folding table the crew brought along, and all of the men peer up at me with confused expressions. Oh, sorry. I wince, then point to the white shed that's on the left, a short walk from the door. The shed isn't very small, but it has my kiln inside, and I needed to bake my sculptures. I would have it inside, but Kyle feels like it'll cause a mess. Please be careful around this shed. Mr. Ward nods, glancing sideways at the oven before focusing on me. You got it, Miss Gabby. We'll be careful. I sigh. Thank you. Okay, I'll leave you alone. He bobs his head once more, and I turn on the heels of my feet, rushing back inside, completely embarrassed. The crew works for 4 hours straight before taking a break. By the time they do, it's my lunchtime, so I go to the kitchen and make a hot turkey sandwich the way my dad always makes it, with American and provolone cheese, Dijon mustard, mayo, bacon, and lettuce. As I sit down to eat, I notice Mr. Ward in the backyard again. He's sitting on the short cement wall near our private beach entrance with a lunchbox in hand. He digs into it, taking out a sandwich and a bottle of water. He guzzles some of the water first, then bites into his sandwich. For a while, I watch him. His eyes are on the ground and his head is hung low. He seems so lonely. Suddenly all these questions start to hit me. I wonder if he has a family? A wife or a girlfriend, maybe? Not that that is any of my business or anything, but I am curious. I wonder if he has any pets, or maybe a fish that he tends to when he gets home? His eyes veer to the left, and he focuses on the door, where I'm sitting. I look away, finishing my sandwich and then going to the fridge to take out a green tea. Walking to the double doors, I step outside, going toward Mr. Ward. Everything going okay so far? I ask, because how else do you start a conversation with your landscaper? Everything is all good. He bobs his head, balling his sandwich bag up, and stuffing it into his lunchbox. Oh. Good. I take a look around. The flower beds are completely gone and some of the grass has been dug up. Man, you weren't kidding about it getting ugly, I laugh. Think of it as an ugly duckling. Starts out looking real ugly, but blossoms into a pretty swan. In the next few weeks, your yard'll be a swan, Miss Gabby. I smile. Tell your husband I was getting started today? No, haven't had the chance. I sigh. He's busy, doesn't get the chance to talk much. He'll text or call when he's free though, I'm sure. What does he do exactly? He owns an investment banking company in New York. He's supposed to be moving his office here really soon. Mr. Ward sits up straight, raising a brow. Oh, really? Yep. And he's about the same age as you, owning a company like that? I laugh. No, he's 33. And you are? 25. Not to sound rude, but how does an older guy end up getting with you if you're in college? He used to come to lunch a lot at a restaurant I worked at. Mostly whenever he was in town for work. He started requesting to sit in my section. We got to know each other well through that. Oh, that kind of thing. He puts on an arrogant grin and takes a swig of water. What's that supposed to mean? I can't fight my smile, probably because his accent is both intriguing and slightly attractive. Nothing. He chuckles. You're a good-looking girl. I could see why a man would want you to keep serving him. I laugh. Sure. Thanks, Mr. Ward. You know what? That Mr. Ward thing is really blowing me. It's all everyone ever called my dad. I need you to start calling me by my real name. Marcel? I tease. Actually, my real name is Marcellus. Marcellus. You know, I saw that on your website. It's a cool name. It's Latin for young warrior. Also means hammer, or something crazy like that. My mother said it was a powerful name. The kind of name that no man would overlook or disrespect. She always told me it was a name she loved calling because it always made her feel protected. But then that Ross character from the show Friends got a pet monkey and named him Marcel. For years, everyone thought my name was hilarious because of it. Guess my name doesn't sound so solid anymore. I break out and laugh. Oh my gosh. You know what? I remember that monkey. Wow, now every time I think of you, I'll picture a monkey on your shoulder. He laughs at that. Oh, you got jokes? I giggle, then I sip my tea. There was actually a character named Marcel on a show I really loved called The Originals. His sire always called him Marcellus, all passionately. I always thought the name was so unique, but the kind of unique you'd only hear on a TV show or read in a book, not in real life. Well, I have no idea what a sire is, but I'm glad you like the name. I like the fact that it's rare. I've never met or heard of another man named Marcel. Neither have I. Does your family live close to Hilton? Your mom? I'm trying to feel him out. I'm curious if he has any family or friends here, but as soon as I ask that, his eyes fall and his eyebrows narrow. No. She doesn't. Don't have any family here. Oh. Okay. I shift on my feet before taking a step back. Maybe asking about his family wasn't the way to go. Well, I should probably let you get back to work. Don't want to hold you up. He stands up, and his height, just like the first day we met, catches me off guard. He's several inches taller than Kyle for sure. His shoulders roll back, and I'm just now realizing he took his plaid shirt off and is only wearing the ribbed tank. He looks down at me, tipping his head sideways. You aren't holding me up. Just making casual conversation on my lunch break, which is fine by me. He studies the side of our house. You spend a lot of time alone, I assume? Me? Hell, I was just thinking the same about him. Yeah, I do now, but it's fine. I get a lot done, plus I'm starting to get used to it. Okay, that's a lie. I'm not used to it yet. When I lived upstate, Kyle drove home to me every night he could. But now, there are flights that stand between us, and by the time he gets home now, he has to fly right back out. He works a lot. It's been that way ever since his dad had a mild heart attack. He took on the company, and he wants to make sure it stays afloat, and I don't blame him. I almost feel bad that I wanted to move to South Carolina, but he agreed that it would be good to have a fresh start, plus he hated the rain and snow of New York, too. Well, if you ever want to have a chit-chat, I won't mind it one bit, Marcel says, looking sideways at me. It's better anyway, especially while working. Makes time go by faster. I hear some men talking and a few of his crew members are walking our way. Okay. As long as I don't bug you. I tend to ask a lot of questions. I'd hate to offend you. It's damn hard to offend me. He picks up a blueprint and reads over it. But I do have one condition for you. If you're making conversation with me, then there won't be any more of that Mr. Ward shit. Just call me Marcel. I laugh. But Mr. Ward is much more formal. Formalities are bullshit. He looks over his blueprint at me. Okay. Fine. Marcel it is. And if that's the case, you can just call me Gabby. Not Miss Gabby. Alright? He places the blueprint down, and his men have already picked up shovels and tools to get back to work. Gabby it is. His southern drawl is heavier as he says my name, and I look away, fighting the blush I feel creeping up on me out of nowhere. I step back, going toward the doors with a grin. Let me know if you need anything, Marcel. Sure will, Gabby. I grab the door handle, but not without noticing the smirk on his face. When I close the doors, I can't help sneaking a peek as I put my tea back in the fridge. Mr. Ward, Marcel, is standing with a shovel in hand. He stabs it into the ground, leaving it standing upright, and then he crosses one arm over the other, reaches down for the hem of his shirt and pulls it up, right over his head. With the sun beaming directly on him, of course he stands out. His tan skin is unmarked minus one long scar right below his right rib. He's sculpted but not bulky, almost like he does just as much cardio as lifting to get his lean, toned appearance. His abs lead down to a sharp V that disappears beneath his belt buckle and jeans. A few hairs jump out from beneath the buckle as he grabs the handle of the shovel. As he snatches the shovel out, he pauses midway. My eyes travel up to find his, and it's then I realize I've been staring. He narrows his eyes a bit, but a smug smile lightly tugs at the corners of his lips. Oh, shit. I back away, bumping into the nearest counter edge. When I hear one of the men yell something, I look again, glad Marcel has moved away from the windows of the doors to tend to the person. I hurry back upstairs, and this time I don't look back, even though a small part of me is dying to see those abs one more time.